In my previous video, I mentioned that I use a different method for making small spots and freckles for things like bodysuits, so here is that method. First up, I cut a small square of my freckle fur. I don't go too small for this method. For this size of spot, I usually go for the size of my thumbnail. Then I cut a small cross shape in the back of the main fur. Since this little spot is larger, I cut the sharp edges off the cross-shaped hole to round it out. Now I press the fur square through the hole through the front side of the fur. Using my fingers, I very gently pry the spot through the backing of the main fur. Now, using a thin needle and a strong thread, I whip stitch the freckle fur to the backing of the main fur. It doesn't need to be neat. It's sort of acting like a basting stitch, except it won't be removed afterward. You might also notice that the edges of the fur don't line up. This is why it's important for your freckle fur to be bigger than the hole in the main fur. The freckle is now sewn in, but we're not done yet. Next is gluing. For this step, you'll need to use a permanent washable fabric adhesive. This is my favourite one that I always recommend. Basically, I just go over the spot with some fabric glue. You don't even really need to use a paintbrush. I just like to use one to get the glue into the crevices. And that spot is all complete. Now, you might be wondering, why don't I just use the hot glue method for this? Why do I do all this? When it comes to areas of fur with exposed backings, for example bodysuits, there are two main reasons why I choose to use this method over the glue method from the previous video, and these are comfort and durability. If you have a lot of friction on this hot glue, for example if it's on a bodysuit that's being well worn or frequently washed, then there is a chance that it will start to fail or peel up. Fabric glue won't have this issue, especially this stuff. I love this glue so much. It's made to be permanent and washable, and even if it does start to fail, then you do have the sewing as a fail-safe. Comfort-wise, this hot glue is fairly rough, so it might be uncomfortable to wear, especially long-term on a bodysuit or a fursuit neck. That being said, this doesn't mean that this method can't be used at all on things like bodysuits, tails, fursuit necks, things like that. This is just a personal preference, like in a lot of fursuit making. And the reverse is also true. You can also use this method for fursuit faces. It is totally up to you how you do things.